Hello. Can you hear me okay? Hopefully I'm using the right microphone.
There we go.
Turn on the camera for me.
Oh, yeah. Give me a moment. Render preview for everyone. It should be up for you. See it?
Yep. There we go.
Actually, I could bring it close and then zoom it out. There we go. Hello. Sorry for the delay. Kinda on technical wise, kind of flew too close to the sun earlier. Trying to get something to work and ends up just not wanting to work. I wanted to try something new. But, yeah. All in all, to kind of summarize, actually, first off, we should introduce ourselves before I go over what I was trying to do. I'm Aegis Wolf, and this is Rushen, both of the Resonite art team. Hold on. Let's see my headset real quick. There. And this is the art team office hours. Every week around the same time, usually around, well, the start of the hour, go through and answer questions that people have. And
right around what 6 it usually starts around 6 Central Standard Time.
US Central, yeah. And
I think today we started a little bit late, but
yeah, I'll go over why. Yeah, to the side of us there is a Twitch chat panel that we can actually see what folks type in, and if you put a question mark after what you type, it will mark it as a question. So, if anybody has questions about, well, what the art team's been doing, Resonite as a platform, I know it's quite exciting as of late. Also, another reason why there was a bit of a delay, but yeah, the workflows that you can use within Resonite or using it as a tool for your like building workflow or well, anything in general. I know a lot about Blender, so I can try to answer questions about that. Both of us can. Yeah.
For the most part, the art team's kind of just been working on the help tab here.
Yep.
Getting the UI, locale strings, all the stuff needed for it. He's just been doing videos for some of the topics.
Yes.
It's been going. A lot of locale strings.
And to kind of link into that while also going on about the delay. Brooks released not too long ago the pretty much the first version of the VR version of the splitting update, at least those that is available to people to try out and test. And earlier I went on and tested it out. It's really cool to see like the performance difference already, let alone like this is just only the scratching the surface of what needs or what has been done and what needs to be done to improve its performance. And even with the bugs, it's crazy with what you can do in there. But this morning, one of the things I needed to do on the help tab is part of it goes over your dashboard. Now, I already covered one using the account I'm in right now, which is about how to customize your dashboard. Because for me, I have like a customized dashboard with like facets, which are like these little pieces of UI. They can move around, adjust it, and mess around with in your dashboard. I made mine, for example, look like Windows 98, and you can like make yours look like something like sci-fi or fantasy or RPG kind of esque. This is all just made out of like images, buttons, sound effects, etc. And yeah, I made a video on that, but the rest of it cover of the help tab covers like the defaults. So I went in and made myself a test account this morning and went ahead and took lots of screenshots. Probably gonna make some videos later too to cover some of the areas of the dashboard and a couple other places too that require videos. But currently, going back to the thing about the splitting build, it doesn't support cameras right now, at least properly. I know Deco earlier was trying to stream, but then I thought of an idea because I literally just set up this testing account earlier, and I was like, maybe I should do it the old-fashioned way, where in a bygone era, you were able to do like streams or that with technically a second account. So if I ran this in VR as my account and ran the other one as a desktop account, I could technically stream on the other like build, but as I said, I flew too close to the sun and the wings melted and apparently kept on logging me out, so I'm here now. But we are in the latest version of the Cloud Home at the moment as well too.
Yep.
By the way, I have the real-time reflection probes on, so people see the
Oh, you do?
really nice lighting in
Yeah,
here.
I will say that those that option is optional.
Mm-hmm.
We have like a little toggle for it, in case people want like more realistic lighting for the cloud home. That way, it's not too much for performance impact. Although, because we get more performance overhead in the splitting build, we're building this to look better and perform better both in that build. So we can showcase some of the features that we've added now that we do have a little bit of performance overhead, like I said. One of which is the dynamic reflection probe. You have the choice of either using the regular static ones, which we're going to set up at some point to be on change as well, or a real-time reflection probe. It's at 128 resolution, so it's not really that bad, but that gives some really nice lighting, as you can see in here. And it'll also change depending where you're at in the room or if it's dark. It is hooked into the spherical harmonic lighting system as well, so it'll affect the ambient light of the world. So if you have like shiny things or glowy things, those will illuminate kind of the world around you. You can kind of see what we're doing with this little reflection probe ball here and how it's getting the reflections.
Yeah. Currently, if for those that aren't aware of like the thing with reflection probes and the current build of Resonite, there's some known bugs within it where if you're using HDR version of probes, there is issues with baking them as well as things like swapping between them. It is a known issue, and that's one thing that Probable Prime has been working on as well. Most likely, this will be fixed post splitting. And what we'll do in the meantime is use, for example, the previous baked reflection probes for this. In the meantime,
I should also mention that even the regular like reflection probes, the non-HDR ones, are also broken when it comes to using them with the SH2 components, because it just displays black as its color value, which it shouldn't. But a lot of these have been looked at already, and they're known issues. We are tracking them actively. But some of those, there's actually a lot of fixes we're waiting to drop at the same time as the splitting, mostly because some of the things that we've changed in there need to be done first, and then we can move on to these.
a bit more context on the reflection probes and like HDR stuff in general. We use a third-party library called Compressinator, which is kind of in the name. It compresses assets, whether it be images, meshes, etc. I'm not too in like the know of like how it works internally. That's more of like a good question to ask Prime or Fruix on their respective office hours. Prime's on Tuesdays, and Fruks is on Sundays.
Yep. Other than that, if we want to give a little walk around, you can see how like the lighting changes. Like when you're in the center of the room where there's not a lot of sunlight getting to it, you'll see that it gets a little bit darker here. Um, Especially if you go like into the corners, little cozy area.
Mm-hmm.
Then the lighting will also change once you start getting to like the outdoorsy areas. Stuff gets a bit brighter, more contrasty. Yep. And
Yeah.
it's also hard to tell because Aegis is wearing it, but their armor is also, because it's reflective, I can see myself in their armor and the environment around them, stuff changing. If you want, you give like a little contrast, show what it looks like with this turned off as well.
So, like, I'm walking around and you kind of see like the reflections of my armor. And just like earlier, I turned off the reflection probes with this thing in front. So, yeah, at the moment right now, it's just using like a default one. Yep. Oh yeah, that's when we were watching YouTube as well. Messing around with the system.
Is the chat
Yeah.
working?
Ah. Hello? Someone say something. Let's test the chat.
Oh yeah, it is still using the test probe. We baked these the other day though. I guess they're still in the ASIC variant system.
I think a lot of folks are still messing about with the splitting build at the moment.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of people in there. Once the VR portion of it got released, they hopped in there real quick.
Yeah, I pretty much went in, and first thing that I did, first I joined off of Veer's session, which is basically like one of the largest sessions in there so far now. Around like 18 or almost 20 people there.
Did you update your streaming
And
camera?
yeah, the performance was doing really, really well.
Aegis, did you update your streaming camera?
Not yet. I've been mainly working on.
Okay. The default streaming camera, or what I like to call the slim camera, has been updated. I'm gonna pull out my personal one here real quick, so we can showcase it. So this one, previously it had filters that you could apply to it. Let me make this a bit bigger.
We go to smooth POV.
Yeah, so it had filters you could apply to it, but due to a slight oversight, they didn't work with the streaming camera for some reason. So we went ahead and fixed that. So now we have you have filters that you can do for streaming. This one in particular, I have set up with some LUT filters to like change the lighting of the world. But yeah, in case you're ever streaming, want to add like an effect to your stream inside of Resonite rather than say like OBS, something that's like dynamic and that can affect the world lighting. You can just do that on the camera now. And it's as easy as if you want to customize your own, like I did with this one, you can just replace the material that is on the slot for the filter.
I like how for the stream, like, I'm using this camera to show you talking about the camera, as well as same thing with the reflection probe. Of me just talking into the reflection probe as if I'm talking to the camera.
I personally have been working with a lot of like lighting stuff for like either production like this or for worlds itself to try to make things look a lot nicer. And we want to apply some of that to the maps that we're making, which is what this system is. We actually have the system that is doing the real-time reflection probe in the essentials folder, in the custom folder. It's just called dynamic reflection probe system. You can just spawn it in your world, zero it out to the spawn, and then use that little button to toggle it on or off. It comes with a README that's attached to the UI panel. All you have to do is hook it into the skybox, just click 2 buttons, and it's done. And then there's some like more detailed instructions for setup if you want to do like the static probes. But I try to make it as easy as possible for someone to come in and
Oh, it's not
just
visible cameras.
place it in their world. All of the setup can be done entirely through the dev tool as well. So like placing the probe, moving it around, changing its size, its sphere of influence, all of that can just be done with a dev tip. You don't even have to like go into the inspector. Some of the options that are in the inspector are stuff to toggle like debug visuals. So if you want to see the sphere itself, its sphere of influence, or be able to like change the size of it, you can just toggle that option on or off. You want to turn that on, Aegis?
Is this the debug visuals right here?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me see here. Oh, and we need to turn off the real time.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, because the real time is just one reflection probe that's local for everyone, so it doesn't really need any debug visuals. And then these are all hidden when it's turned on. But here you can see the sphere of influence of the reflection probes, the static ones that we have in place. These have yet to be baked. We're going to wait until the splitting to bake these for the aforementioned issues with reflection probes. But yeah, that's kind of what it looks like once you've placed them all with your tool. And baking them is pretty easy. I mean, there's a editor in the dev tip menu called the reflection probe editor. Just drag and drop the slot, hit bake, it bakes small, and you're done. But yeah. We can probably give a better detailed view of this once the splitting is done as well. Show it like us actually using it and setting up a map with it, I think.
May as well mention as well, I'm standing on the new version of the teleporter, which is now imported into here. So it's pretty much good to go. When you walk near it, you have different destinations. I'm not going to accidentally activate it this time, but if I go to pick public session, it will show you the topmost active sessions within Resonite. And now we have a nice back button if you want to go back and choose something else. This will definitely help folks find sessions right away. Of course, there's still things like the locale that needs to be done, but it's pretty much functionally there. And speaking of locale, I think let me turn that back on here. If I recall, when Ravy was counting how many locale strings for the help tab, it's over 623 as of now.
That's new ones.
Yep.
So, in addition to the ones that were already there. So that's a lot. And that's all for like as you can see here, like the titles of these buttons or like the content of the pages.
Let's bring it closer here.
We spent some time to like fill out a lot of the categories here. Just basically do like a written tutorial, if that makes sense, in case people need something extra, or if you're an existing user trying to show another user how to use something, you can pull up this or tell them how to find it. Or maybe you just forgot something and you want to go back to see like, you know, what it was. For instance, if we can, if you want to like, let me close that real quick. Let me see here. There is a panel on sync issues, which leads you to like the wiki link. It's going to have some text about, you know, how you can fix it, what to do. and it's just right here in game rather than you having to open up the wiki. The option is there in case you want more detailed view, but honestly, some of that is just helpful to have in here. Let me see. I'm trying to find the. Where's the rich text formatting ones?
Links and resources.
This one. Yeah, here we go. These are nice. Do you have the locale file installed?
I think me reinstalling back to the latest version or main version basically nuked it, so give me a moment. Ravy sent it to
Okay.
me, so I'm gonna quickly find it again and is that the locale? Yes, that's the one we were working on last night.
Mm-hmm.
Now you get to see the magic of how this thing actually does it live. So if you ever make changes to locales, you can literally just. All right, where is it? Resonite logs, locale.
You can test locale changes by just replacing the one that's in your Resonite folder, and it updates in real time. That's what Aegis is doing currently. So they're taking the normal one, they're updating it with the one that we've been working on, and then all the text here should immediately be translated. And we can show you some examples.
Done.
Cool. So this is a nice one to have in the help tab, or like one of my favorites, the rich text formatting one. Basically tells you the command for it, shows you an example of what it does, and it lists like all of them. So if you're ever doing any UI work and you can't remember, you know, what that effect you want on the text was, or even maybe you're just looking for something you don't know of, you just look through this list and see if any of these, can help you.
Let me kind of go over some of the latest stuff I've been working through. Mainly going through and recording multiple videos at once or within a session.
Yep.
So that people visually can see what each part of Resonite is, whether it be via short form videos or screenshots. Like, for example, this showing that you can scale yourself up and down within Resonite.
And don't worry, we're not replacing the whole tutorial with just this. This is in addition to the tutorial, which we have updated a little bit. And we have further plans for making a more expansive one when we have time as well. But hopefully this, plus the updates to the existing one, should help people's onboarding a little bit better.
Oh, this one was a fun one.
The fruit. The help tab is most likely going to be a part of the dash, like on the bottom row.
Context of what Rue was answering.
Yep. That way it's always available. And then I believe we're going to have a version that people can just kind of spawn out like we have with this one, so that they can just kind of have it as a pamphlet. Putting it in the cloud home, I'm not sure if we'll do that because then it's going to be really hard to update. But having it just in your dash is going to be easy for us to update anyway, because we can just push an update. Like if we add a tab or change some locale strings, stuff like that. Like it's easier to update through the inventory.
I just brought it into this instance of the Cloud Home so that I can showcase it, the progress of it.
Yep. I think the only other world that we're thinking of having like one of these permanently in is the Avatar world, and that's going to be like on the section about just avatars in general. And that way people have a handy reference to go to. And it's easier for us to update the avatar world than the cloud home. Every time we update the cloud home, we actually have to push a platform update because the game comes with the files for the cloud home on like delivery, so that people don't have to wait to load it up.
Same with the tutorial world you first load in, and
Yep.
the local home. That way you load in faster, and it pretty much saves on your memory as well. Because any asset that is within these worlds that we create is pretty much a part of like the default assets. So if you save like just a small change of your cloud home, maybe like a trinket or an avatar you wanted to put somewhere in the world, you only save technically that avatar and not really anything else. And one thing I'd like to mention about us updating the avatar world, or not the avatar, the cloud home, and that is about what we're going to be adding over here, and in general within the cloud home, is a update notice. Whenever we whenever you update to the newer version of the cloud home, is the main thing about the cloud home in general. It is yours to adjust it, unless if it's completely untouched and it's a default one. If you saved it in any capacity, it's pretty much your own version of it. But whenever we update this world, the difficulty is we don't want to override your own worlds or your data. So we figured a good compromise, at least for the newer versions, is a update panel of sorts. I can't grab it. I was gonna take it with me, but essentially it shows you. Oh, there's an update to the Cloud Home. Shows you a link to the Discord as well too, and it tells you how long has this version of the Cloud Home is out of date in a matter of like a time frame, like say however many days out of date. And then something that you don't have to see again if you don't want to. It's just some way to tell people, hey, we got an update to the uh, Cloud Home in the least intrusive way possible.
Yep. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about the help tab, what's going to be in it or what it might cover, just shoot us a question. We also have GitHub issues open, so if you think that there's something that the help tab should cover or you wanted to cover, you can add those comments to the GitHub issue. We can look at them and then start adding them to the board. There's been a number of things added in that fashion already, and even us in general come up with more that we can add because maybe we forgot something. One of the ones that I think we still need to add is one about like roles and like world permissions, like the more advanced versions of those that are actually done through the inspector. Because those are pretty tricky, but they're also pretty powerful whenever you want to make like a very specific experience or maybe a game that you're working on within Resonite. And you want to restrict some things and actions that are just normally available in regular worlds.
I'm currently looking for the help tab GitHub issue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, tab. Oh, I should probably put the label of content. You can find it easier.
Mm-hmm.
Help screen on dashboard. There we go. Copy.
I believe we also have a version of the locale strings in there too for people to look at. Although I think we need to update them.
Again, plugging the GitHub issue 1123 on our like, GitHub repository. Anyone wants to add any feedback or requests? uh, we have a question from Alex Tupai. Can we find the portable art team in a help tab? Are we portable? We're
I don't know.
somehow trapped in there, are we? How
I don't
are
think my legs could fit.
my
I need a
wings
lot of leg room.
will probably not fit the frame either.
I'm taller than the help tab is anyway, even at this scale.
That's because of your tail and your ears. How do you know we're not in a video, stuck in a video that is on the help tab right now?
Exactly.
I don't know. We're also
Yeah,
probably stuck on a video in somewhere on people's phones or laptops or computers.
hopefully this tab can help out some people though, especially if they have any questions or whatnot that they don't want to open up the wiki for. What's
Yeah.
that one?
Well, I somehow made it the size of the Cloud Home. Okay. Ace on Twitch at 17 asks, will the new teleporter be in the Resonite Essentials when it releases? Of course, yes. It'll be within this world, within the tutorial world, and also the Avatar Gazebo. So you can literally just go between the worlds.
Oh, you know what? We should also mention just again in general that we updated the assets for the plants that we use in the Cloud Home, as well as a new pack. Um, they're both in the Resonite Essentials. Oh, my hand drifted. Resonite Essentials 3D assets, Resonite assets, and then plants. We have both static and wavy versions, so like ones that are blowing in the wind. They have LODs now on both versions, so you can play around with those and put them around your map without having to worry about too much lag. And in general, the assets have been cleaned up and the textures have been improved with custom bitmaps. In case you guys ever wanted to throw some plants around, we also updated them in the Cloud Home and in the Avatar Gazebo, so you can see some of the updates here. They're all one atlas now too. We did that a while back actually. So each of the plants is all just using one material for the most part. The trees have the separate material for their trunks, of course, but the plants in general just have one material just to make it easy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Ooh, I hear something.
It's a question for you, Rue. Let me, before you answer it, let me just,
Did they just forget to put me in shout?
oh,
Usually that's done on Aegis's side.
give me a moment. Now we should also be, yeah. Yeah,
Also, hi
we're
there,
both on
Decoy.
shout.
Is this better? John Resonate.
Sean Resonite.
Yeah, we still have, I think, what, 30 minutes left. We started at 6:30, so we end at 7:30, right? Unless you just wanted to end at 7, it's up to you. Yeah, feel
Give
free
it
to
a
send
half an
questions.
hour, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let me see what else I can grab as well. Mm-hmm. Oh, at some point, as part of like something that just I'm doing personally, I'm gonna grab a ton of LUT filters and just put them in a public folder. I found a really big library of them, so I'm gonna like sort through them. I was actually gonna do that today, and see if I can upload them. They're not technically gonna be like official assets, but just something I wanted to throw in case people wanted to find something to use. They're all CCO, from what I could tell, for the licensing. That way, people can use them for commercial stuff, which means us, or if you would just use them in your own works. Those are some of the ones I actually put on my version of the streaming camera that I personally use. And yeah, I think those will be nice. We've been playing around with them, taking some fun pictures. Like this one. I managed to capture Aegis perfectly.
It's like that aliens meme right there. You should post this in like the screenshots channel in Discord.
Oh yeah, you know what? I'll put a bunch of the ones I have in there. I took a bunch of pictures of dunes with the filters and the dynamic reflection probe system being on and stuff. That way people can see kind of what I've been doing with that. Disappear. Do you think? Pineapple asks, "Do you think?" I think. I think. Do you think that I think? I think.
Who'd have thunk it? That's my question.
Oh, we're also going to be updating the Where are they? Are they still in here? These. We realized that these were made quite some time ago. So we're going to be updating them. At least the protoflux that's in them.
I already did. By the way.
You did?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if we had done that yet. Now they're less laggy.
As well as I went through the of going through and rewriting the projectile system again. Like, well, this is before the latest one I'm working on, but bow and crossbow within the Cloud Home and the Essentials have had a rework as well too. And the projectile system is much more flexible with what you can do with it, as well as you can have the projectile system on its own for making your own style weapons or whatnot with it.
We could probably replace these with mangoes. What do you think, Aegis?
Why not?
I don't know. There was
both?
There was a thing going on at the time when we made these. I can't quite remember it too much. But we were just like, oh, dragon fruit would be awesome to have as like a little just like funny fruit type thing.
Why not have it as another option? More options, the better.
I mean, could add a bunch of fruit.
Could have like one full of dragon fruit, one full of mangoes, one with a mix, one full of blueberries, one full of raspberries.
The fruit bowl.
There you go. That means I need to make an actual bowl instead of this.
That'd be funny. But yeah, that's definitely something we can do.
Trying to eat
Did
them
you
all.
set the you set the audio to ignore reverb zones? That was one thing that I think we needed to do with them as well. Which, by the way, if you're ever making an asset and using some of the like audio stuff now, there are options on your assets to have them ignore audio zones, and that can be really helpful if you only want that audio zone to impact people's like voices, or maybe like the sound of a gun or some other object or box falling, but not really, have a big effect on someone's voice. You can like prioritize which ones get affected by it, or tell it to ignore some. We were having to turn off the reverb zone for the fruit on a map Nex was working on because they had a really strong reverb zone. You crunch into that fruit and it just makes like deafening echo crunch of the reverb zone.
Yeah. Having that kind of reverb can make places like an auditorium or like a concert with music feel even more like immersive. Whoa.
Oh, thank you, Juan V.
Thank you, Juan V. Whoa.
But yes, reverb zones are really good. I plan to add some to a bunch of places. Do we have any in here, by the way? Any reaper zones?
I do not think so. I think that's actually one of the things we haven't added yet in here.
Yeah, we should definitely add like one for the inside and outside. I think we have a few audio things that happen in the cloud home, like with the outdoor noises, indoor noises, the wind noises. But I think that all of that was set up before we really had a lot of the strong reverb stuff that Cyro and Fruits helped put in. So we can go and update that with the new audio stuff and get it sounding really cool in here too. I
Mm-hmm.
think having a nice soft like reverb zone in here would sound really cool,
Yes.
like the one that Ryuvi has in one of their workshops.
Yeah, technically we would have 3 of them because you got one in this main pill-shaped building, one for the outside, and then one for... Actually, we want to be more specific. We can have 4. One for like that hallway that goes in between this area and that theater room. Of course, one for the theater room as well. But like that area between those 2 buildings could have like a unique effect as well too on audio.
I was also thinking of having them like on the balcony out there, and then like a real little one in that like cozy nook area with all the padding. That could be a bit of a softer like tone than the normal room, because these are pretty flat ceilings. So they would bounce down back a little bit. Yeah, we got all these upgrades, so now we're just like applying them to all the maps that we have, making them visually and auditorily just better in general.
Mm-hmm. And performance-wise as well. Even if Resonite itself, as like the program and all that, gets optimized, that does not mean we aren't optimizing the stuff that we make within it.
Oh yeah,
or for it. So we already went
they're
through
definitely
the effort of pretty much Ship of Theseus, as it's called, where you place everything. Is it the same thing again? It's like the broom as well. Example.
entire building was replaced entirely mesh wise. A lot of the mesh was either fixed up in some places, reworked, or just like improved. And then, or say, like even these things at some point, because I think they used to be like full metal things, right? Now they're decals, or we have a version of them that are
The
decals.
newer set. There's
Yeah.
gonna be a newer like building set that will have trim sheets for textures and such.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
But even though this looks the same, we had to build it from scratch and then like move a lot of the interior assets over
Mm-hmm.
to get it looking the same. Which actually, I like the way the lights work in here in this version better. In the old one, you couldn't see like the cookie on the ceiling or the walls or anything. Now you can see with the little marks, the lines, and everything. Um,
That was
that
a
wasn't there before.
that was a strange hinge, but there we go. Also, what I was trying to show as well. You can also change the color of this. Within your cloud home, you'll have this panel here, and you can adjust the lighting and a whole bunch of stuff within your cloud home. For example, I'm gonna mess with the lighting here, and I think does the intensity work? Okay, we're gonna have to change the values or variable names.
Oh yeah, because the new lights use a different variable than the one that the panel was using before.
Yeah.
The
Well,
older panel.
essentially the concept of this, no matter if you have like ones in the world or if you spawn them out in a world, and you spawn out this panel, it'll automatically link itself to it, and you can change the lighting effects.
These are also set up with, or the mesh in here is also set up with material relays. So if you want to go over to like, we're gonna move this one out of the way for now, so we're done with that one. If you want to update like what these are, you can just use a material gun, and it'll change the theme of that object. So like walls and stuff,
I'm at the
floor.
flooring here. And if you notice, I actually separated both the carpet and the wood floor.
Before, with the way that the pieces were set up, they didn't really like care with the materials, so they just kind of apply randomly. But this time, we took the care into making sure that where the material gets placed is the major theme of the object. So, if you want to update like the look of the house without completely changing all of the materials on it, you can just change the wallpaper. As easy as that. I'm just using material gun. You can still change those in the inspector, but this just makes it easier for people who either don't want to use inspectors or don't know how. They can just pull any material they like, any kind of wallpaper, and just apply it easily.
All right, we have a question from Ace on Twitch 17. Let me just do that. So you guys plan on having everything, the help tab and gazebo done around the time the splitting releases? The minimum viable product is called? Yes. And what that means is everything that we think would be good to release for the first version of each, whether it be this cloud home that we're in, the help tab that we're working on. Oh, whoops. The Avatar Gazebo, the tutorial world refresh, because that also had a brand new code of pretty much replacement of assets and all that, and updates here and there of assets within the essentials by the time of the splitting comes out. There is going to be
And we're gonna make sure.
Go ahead.
We're gonna make sure not to like release it before it's done as well. So some of the things that require like the splitting build in order to finalize, say like the cloud home, we're gonna have to wait until things are functioning for those features in order to update them here and then release the cloud home. But the things that we can release, say like the help tab that don't have anything barring like the splitting, those can be released. That way, we make sure that things are put out when they're ready and not before, so that people don't have too many issues with them. Luckily, a lot of the things have already been kind of fixed over there on that version. We're just kind of waiting for like the big push over to the main build in order to finalize a few things. That's a big one.
Before I get to that question, one thing I wanted to also say too is there is going to be a effort by both us and mentors going through and proofreading pretty much everything in that help tab, because it's it's a lot. It's like I still gotta finish a few videos and such. We also gotta go through and get the initial versions of the English locale gone through, and then it's a matter of going through proofreading, and then once we are confident in a good spot for it as well, getting it ready to show it to folks that want to have a head start on translating it to other languages as well. Now, while Rue is...
Yep, I'll get this set up. You say the question.
Yes, while Rue is doing something over there, I'm going to put this question here to go over Qualitarium's question. Don't know if this is an our team question exactly, but how difficult would it be to add additional functionality to the stock tools? For example, I was working on a world using the new Dawn plants, made, and I need to make a change to the colliders, toggling in a raycast for like 400 of them. As far as I know, collider setter tool doesn't appear to surface this ability by default.
So, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. A good way of kind of doing that is, instead of updating the tool, you create a separate tool as in, well, Rue and I already have created a tool that could help with that in particular.
I will say real quick, you can add functionality to tools, either by using like a tooltip events protoflux node, and then just like writing protoflux to do what you want the tool to do, to like recursively do things. However, in your particular case, since this kind of comes up a lot, even when we're working on stuff like the cloud home, like if we need to replace every single plant in here, which is actually what we did when we made the update to the plants, we built this thing. I think there's still some work that needs to be done with it, but it works for the most part. So I went ahead and put it in the essentials anyway. It's pretty easy. Say you have a folder here, right? And say this is the slot that you have all your plants in, and each of those child objects are your plants. You're going to put the slot to search here. You're going to grab the name of one of the objects that you want. I'm assuming they're all the same name. Usually they are when people are duplicating objects. And then you'll see a replacement slot. So then you get your new object. You can put that in the replacement slot. And then if you want them to go to a new place, you can add another slot. So in this case, to object 2. Or if you want them to be in the exact same container, you can just reuse the first one. So we're going to go ahead and run that, and it will replace all of those objects with that new object. And you can basically do this with your plants. You take one of the plants, set it up the way you want it, and then just tell the machine to replace them all, and you're done. It's that easy and that quick, honestly. I tried to make it as easy to use as possible. I think there's also instructions on how to use it that are hidden within it. If you open it in an inspector, let me double check here. Yeah, there's a how to use, and it has like a detailed readme on how to use it and some tips that you can go through with it. That way you don't, need to refer either back to this video or any other thing to figure out how to use that. You just pull it up and open it. Hopefully that helps. Yep, it's in essential tools, and then custom. You'll also see like the sun tool there, the dynamic reflection probe tool, like, they're just all in there. And if anyone ever finds any issues with these tools, just let us know and we'll see if we can make a fix for them. Like I said, this one, this particular one, if you are moving objects that are not organized, sometimes it will add more objects than necessary, which you can just remove, and you can tell which ones are broken by them being like 0 scale. Once we get that fixed, I'll push out an update for that, but I'm still trying to figure out a good way to do it. But for the most part, like, yeah, if anyone has any more questions, we're good to go for like, I think another 10 minutes. Or 9 minutes actually.
Yeah. If anyone, I figured I'd mention this too, you reminded me, like any fixes or whatnot with art team related, like the content within Resonite. Say if there's like a bug with one of the tools, Protoflux or whatnot, it's best to report that on the GitHub as well. It's not just for, a coding bug or whatnot. It's there for any issues with content related stuff. And I know there's like a lot of them that are pretty much outstanding when it comes to, say, the beginner's experience or like the cloud home and stuff. But with the fact that we can't really replace the cloud home without either deleting people's like data of their current cloud home, or the only other alternative is to ask folks to update their cloud home if they have an older version. And at the moment, that's why we're making that notifier. So newer users that start up the game will have this newer version of the cloud home, but if you do not, you will have to basically, if you're okay with it, you can just reset your cloud home and it will use the default one. automatically by pretty much unfavoriting whichever cloud home you have.
Mm-hmm.
And interesting question from Ace on Twitch 17. What do the Dawn assets smell like? Wood.
Yeah, I was thinking like a woody fabric kind of smell. Like if you go up to it with like not like a new couch, but like, a clean fabric, kind of like one of those older couches. That's what I think. Mostly because a lot of the warm colors, and that's kind of what I associate them with.
A nicely cleaned, like, wooden cabin or lodge. That's what I would think. And if it's like in the
Especially with all the
sky
fresh
like
air out there.
this too, probably, yeah, lots of fresh air. Windy at times.
Plus, we got lots of plants in here too, including some flowers. So I bet you it'd be pretty floral as well.
Hmm.
Because like, yeah, like look how big this flower is.
And you don't have to worry about
Huge.
allergies and everything in VR.
Exactly.
Unless if you program that in. But at least virtually your character would experience it. Hopefully they don't actually emulate that in VR in real life. That would suck.
If we ever get like the smell of vision, um, hopefully people don't get allergic to the smells.
Oh no.
Would you get smell of vision for VR if they made that?
If it's something that doesn't require, having to buy specific files personally, but like maybe to try it for like specific experiences, probably like once or twice a couple of times. But like there's gotta be a way to like somehow simulate stuff without having to like purchase specific like substances to get things. Plus that stuff from what I remember is kind of on the edge of like regulation and stuff with other kinds of technology.
I think there were some movie theaters that had it a couple runs.
It is an interesting device.
Let me remove some of these things here. Ooh.
Oh, this is one thing figured I'd showcase too. One of the last things about the help tab. On the bottom here, you'll see this like bar here. This is for mentors.
Ooh,
This,
that's it. Yeah.
yeah, this is so that if you, oh, excuse me, if you spawn this in a world, and say you're a mentor trying to help another user, and you're trying to see what kind of controls they're using, this can help them try to find the right kind of grammar and also wording of what kind of controls that they use, because depending on what controllers or like platforms, say if you're on desktop versus VR, the context, the wording and all that can change depending on what it is. This
That's
can
actually
help you.
something we should go over some too. Is in the locale files, we've created some new, or not new, but we're utilizing some stuff that we didn't know that we could use. So, for instance, in the locale, you can set up these kind of like conditionals, similar to like protoflux, um, and we can basically use anything that's happening in Resonite in order to affect that conditional. You can actually use this in the regular text as well, but in terms of the locale file, we're using it to determine what kind of device they're on. Are they in VR? Are they on desktop? And then we can change the entire grammar of the sentence or the sentence entirely just through the locale string based on whether or not they're in desktop or in VR. So, like when you grab something, if you're in desktop, it'll say, click and hold right click on the mouse or something like that. And then if someone in VR is looking at it, it's going to say to, grip with your trigger. And they're both looking at the same thing, even if they're on the same locale. It's just, it's local.
Not only for like if they're on desktop or VR, but also depending on the controller. For example, the Vive ones have less buttons and like interactions than, say, the Index or uh, like a Quest controller, or even
And we
some
can
individual cases like the Vive Cosmos has that extra bumper button. So lots of different
we,
contexts.
and we can use it for pretty much anything, not just desktop or VR mode. Um, so it's going to help out with making more complex locales, but also at the end of the day, more complete and information dense locales. It might make them a bit tricky to translate, um, but we'll see how that goes. At least for this initial batch, in case we need to like change how we're doing them. Um, but hopefully, it'll add a lot more nuance to the locale file.
We have a good question coming up. Let me just get some stuff prepared for it. So, Ace on Twitch. Oh, okay. What inspired you to make the designs for the 2021 through 2023 yearly batches? Now, wasn't really my idea to like, regardless of what the badges are. It's more or less on, I think, Fruks at that time, and a lot of it is just like the evolution of how things progress within the engine. But speaking of designs, I've been going through and updating the badges. I did go through previously, and in between working on this and quite a few other things, trying to update the visuals on the old badges to be more consistent with the art style that we've been doing. For example, I went through and I think one of the previous streams I showed off the potato badge, the bread day badge, the uh, the fruit badges as well, and the first iteration of the yearly badges that I was gonna try to redesign. But there was some issues with like well, readability and visibility of them because like small lines of dots don't really look that great as icons. I might want to use those designs for other things because it was more like an abstract kind of thing too, and that was another issue. It was a bit too abstract, but I went through and kind of like sketched out some stuff in colored pencil and sketchbook, kind of see what the new badges would potentially look like, and kind of gone through and brainstormed quite a few ones. I did post these on the uh, devlog as well too a bit ago. But I'm gonna go through in Blender and pretty much refine these and make some new ones. And if I recall, the reason why it was like originally the style of like a spark, a flame, bonfire, and such, it's kind of like the progression of technology, if I recall. It's been a while, so it's kind of hard to
Yep.
exactly remember the theming there. But I think
Kind of
that,
shows the growth of the platform.
yeah.
Like started with a few people, so kind of like a spark, and then more and more people came on, so the flame got bigger and bigger. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we have reached our time for now.
It's a good spot to end it
Um,
on, too. Yeah.
yep. So we thank y'all for coming out and seeing what we got here and what we're up to.
There
Hopefully,
we go.
you learned some cool things and got to see some nice stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're probably gonna head out for now. Y'all have a good rest of your day.
Y'all take care.
See y'all later. Well,
Get that all set. And Streamlabs,
my
where
hand
are
lost
you?
tracking entirely.
All right. Bye bye. Whoa.